All right. Welcome back to another Elevated Marketing Dot podcast, where the dot stands for data over time. This is the place where we simplify marketing to help grow your business. It is brought to you by Elevated Marketing Solutions, and my name is Jennifer.
And I'm Brenna.
And today we are going to talk about tactics for keeping the clients you have and customer retention and brand loyalty. It's more important than I think some people think about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into starting those relationships, gaining customers, and it's important to keep them.
Yeah, I mean, client retention is more cost effective as a business than consistently having to acquire new clients. Not that you don't need both of them, but if you can consistently keep the clients you have and keep them coming back and recommending other people, or then that's going to make your cost per acquisition on clients a lot less expensive.
Mm-hmm. If you're constantly trying to rebuild your customer base, then there's a lot of resources that go into that. And, that's costly in itself,
Yeah,
just the time spent.
there's emotional and financial impact on your team of, constantly trying to get new clients and, learn those clients. And, there's whenever you're working with people constantly, a lot that happens in the beginning of a relationship that's what makes it easier to keep that, right?
Yeah. Well, and, if you're getting these customers, you're likely building some sort of relationship with them. And a lot of times you can find that you're very like minded and you
Hmm.
almost become friends in a sense. And yeah, I mean, that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at it differently. I see sometimes people that want to lock people in with some sort of offer or something like that, like just, oh, well, they can't leave. And maybe I see that in marketing where an agency kind of locks them in because, they own all the marketing platforms and it's really, they own the data and it makes it hard on the the client. And is that really sending the right message? I'd rather leave people who work with us that they don't want to leave because we're easy to work with.
Yeah, I give them those reasons to never want to leave.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
stopping people.
yeah, it's much better. Clients that we service, though, like service-based clients, a lot of times they have multiple products or multiple services that they have. And so working on customer retention, and people being loyal to the brand will help them be able to sell them additional products and services.
Hmm. I think a lot about too with like healthcare providers. Maybe it's optometrist, maybe it's a family doctor, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of relationship building that comes with that to not only gain trust, but to keep that trust. And, that retention is definitely just
Yeah.
a priority.
So along this phase, like there are some reasons why somebody might not have that customer retention or want to, come back. And so you need to think about that from a marketing standpoint of is that a problem? So the first one I think about is, there is no consistent follow up. Going back to, I don't know, I think about event clients and, they put on maybe one or two events a year, but the only time that they're reaching out and engaging with their audience is when it's time to sell tickets. And
Hmm.
that's they feel forgotten, and that community is not built, and there's no, kind of consistent communication going on. You have to always be talking to your audience and not just at the moment that you're ready for them to purchase.
Yeah. Well, and especially with events too, there's so much hype and build up before that event happens. And then once it happens and you just drop off and kind of fall off the face of the earth, it, maybe a little off putting to those who attended and have been loyal even over the years attending those events.
Yeah. Healthcare providers, like, you maybe see them once a year, and the only communication they ever get from you the entire year is at the time that it's ready for your appointment.
Hmm.
Um, that's not building a community of people and trying to help them. Not when you're always just wanting the sale.
Yeah. Yeah. And even say service based, maybe you're an HVAC company. Well, there are multiple seasons where there's maybe a tune up required. And so if you're following up and consistently reminding your customers, like, hey, it's that time of year again, like, let's get you in for an appointment. Or if you're just sitting around waiting,
Yeah.
they're going to be forgotten.
I think another reason, clients leave is service is inconsistent, and
Mhm.
that could be because, one team member is treating a client one way and another team member is treating a client a different way, and that starts at the top. Like, if you don't have, that constant communication of what's important to you, what are your values, as a team, then it's they're gonna leave because it's inconsistent. Well, they only get the service they want when they work with Susie. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's not good.
Yeah, it's not a matter of trying to play favorites in that sense. You want everyone to be involved in creating that great experience.
Yeah. Another one I think about is when people give incentives for new people versus people who have been with you a long time.
Yeah.
Like, if they've been with you for a long time, like, create that brand loyalty and reward them more than you would somebody that's just coming in.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a loyalty program, but it could be every once in a while. Maybe it's for birthdays. Maybe it's
Hmm.
one time a year you have a customer appreciation event
Yeah,
and you're really treating and nurturing those relationships that you've had.
yeah, yeah. Uh, maybe you have unresolved, like, complaints.
Hmm.
Maybe you have them on your reviews online, and you're not answering those reviews, and that looks like to the next person that, you're not taking it seriously on customer service. And I think that can be a bad problem too.
Yeah, for sure. Something else that I think about as well is there is no emotional connection. I had mentioned that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're human. Like, let's talk to people like we're humans. Yeah.
We've seen that before too, where people maybe go too much into the I'm always trying to close, and
Hmm.
nobody wants to be treated like a number. This
No.
is where you look at your content, and if you're always trying to close somebody, you're not treating them like a person, and that emotional connection is lost.
Hmm. Yeah. And maybe it's not even all the way emotional, but it's just you're providing, we've said it a million times, but providing that value too. It's, you're act as a resource for your customers.
You're solving the pains that they have that are directly related to the service that you offer, and if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
Mhm.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
just have to look at it differently.
Absolutely.
I think there is a lot of power in post sale relationships. So after somebody has already purchased from you, that isn't the end. A lot of times it's the beginning of the relationship. And
Yeah.
so you have to make sure that handoff is good, um, but that you're constantly checking in with them.
Yeah, definitely a follow up. I think, regardless of what industry you're in, whether it's service, healthcare, travel, any sort of follow up that's maybe asking for feedback or even appreciating and thanking your customers for choosing you um, directly after that transaction or interaction, whatever it may be. I mean, that follow up is really important.
Just proactively asking for it, because you never know if somebody is feeling like they're not happy until it's too late.
Yeah.
And so if you're not constantly kind of asking for that feedback, how can we serve you better? What can we do differently? Like, don't be afraid of that. Like, that's actually a good thing. And, people will appreciate that you're asking them because they know that you're trying to help them.
hmm Well, and internally, it can only help improve your team and create better experiences, not only for current customers, but future ones as well.
Yeah. I think some things that people don't think about this is the power of maybe a newsletter, having that constant communication, post sale of here's some helpful information will help foster that relationship and not just make it transactional.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in return, it does definitely help you kind of stay top of mind when, it comes time for, like I said earlier, maybe HVAC tune up. Okay, well, this person has been sending me a newsletter every month for the past however long. Like, let me call them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's tools to help you, like in that role of personalization. Like, people do tend to stay with people that they feel like they know and understand them. So CRM tools where you can keep information on past preferences, service history, past purchases will help people better as a team approach people, because they'll understand what you know is important to them.
Definitely. I with a lot of this, I keep going back to email marketing and thinking about how email marketing can truly help with this brand loyalty and retention. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased. I know I like email marketing, but
I think of social media like
yeah,
too.
I agree with
Like, yeah, you're building an audience there, and you're building, loyalty for and people to know, like, and understand who you are. And
that.
when businesses don't take that seriously, they're affecting their customer retention just as much as new people, because they start to forget who they are because
Mhm.
they're not consistently out there, having those conversations.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and we had mentioned earlier too that emotional connection. It's not always going to be about business. Maybe it's more personal,
Yeah.
and showing that personality.
Well, it's that VIP experience.
Yeah.
When you teach, or people are important regardless of, whether or not they're there to actually pull out their wallet and spend the money, but they're important all the time. That's where you can create that VIP experience, that, they are important to you.
Yeah. Well, and I think too with a VIP membership or some sort of loyalty program, while we're on that matter, it can definitely help you stand out from other competitors if you can offer things that other people aren't. Just give more reason to not only come here, but to stay as well.
Well, I know one of our clients has a VIP program where, in the HVAC industry, where I'm a priority because I am a VIP. And so I will get my scheduling for, the clean out of our heating and air sooner than later.
Yeah.
Um,
Not only do you get that priority, you get, what is it, 24/7 service too, if you need it.
Yep, yep. So that makes me feel like a VIP, and so that keeps that customer retention and brand loyalty because I know I'm important to them.
Yeah, that sense of just exclusiveness. It's not to say that customers who are not in the VIP program don't also get great treatment. That's
Right.
not at all what it is. But you're just offering these exclusive perks in hopes that they
Yeah.
stay longer.
So another way that you can help with your customer retention and brand loyalty is to turn, your clients into advocates,
Mm-hmm.
and not make them, but make them want to refer you.
Mm-hmm.
A happy client is going to refer you more naturally. But you might have to, ask them, hey, do you know anybody that would need our service? And, there's a calming nature to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could create a referral program too. Maybe you're providing some sort of incentive. Maybe it's a gift card. Maybe it's a percentage off, whatever it may be. Um, Not only is word of mouth powerful, but when there's an incentive, I think a lot of people they're really happy with your service and they'll go for it as well.
Yeah, yeah. Things to think about is, getting people involved also with before and after photos,
Mm.
creating case studies for clients. Like everybody likes to kind of see their name out there. And so I think that can also help, people to be that advocate for you.
For
Um, I think making it easy, super easy to leave a review,
sure.
and incentivizing it without like sounding desperate. Like,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah,
hey, for your time, I'd love to give you some coffee or, Starbucks gift card or something like that. That helps people.
yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
So, there are things will go wrong, and that can cause, a bad client experience. So, I think there's tactics you have to consider, like when things do go wrong. Um, you know, what are some of the things you have to look for?
Yeah. Well, if you're trying to spot maybe an unhappy client, a lot of times they might be pretty upfront with you and tell you, you know what, I
Yeah,
don't agree with that. I don't like that. It's kind of how you recover after that. You have to be receptive to hearing those
yeah.
things.
If someone starts to ghost you and you like don't hear from you, that's probably a red flag.
Yes, that is absolutely like,
They're probably just trying to avoid the situation, but you need to own the mistake and fix the mistake. I always feel like owning a mistake is the best way,
yeah,
um, and anyway, I think there might be ownership on both sides, but trying to play the blame game usually doesn't pay off
yeah.
well. It's better to be like, okay, well, here's what I could have done better, and
Mhm.
not try to focus on, well, what could they have done better? Because you can only control your own actions.
For sure. It should never be combative. It's just accept it as constructive and learn from it, grow from it.
Yeah,
That's, yeah.
yeah. Fast response to when somebody's upset, like
Hmm.
that can be the difference maker between keeping and losing somebody. So you know, we talked about on the last show not having chaos. So I mean, obviously, if you have a lot of upset clients, you probably have bigger issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But being proactive though and checking in will ensure that you can catch people before they're ready to complain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a matter of communication. And it's not always going to be about bad things, but just communicating that they are happy and they are satisfied with the services that they have been provided or the products they have received.
Yeah, I think when it comes to customer retention, loyalty is not a transactional thing.
Mhm.
It is about relationships, and it does take time. you know, you want to train both your team to value long-term clients just as much as new clients. And I see this sometimes where you get really excited and you have someone new and you over kind of give them a lot of attention, and then there's people that have been with you for a long time and that attention kind of wears off, and you got to be aware of that and realize that everybody is important.
Yeah. You had said it last show, shiny object syndrome. It's kind of the same in this case.
Definitely staying top of mind with your marketing. So, content marketing, constantly having check ins, providing helpful resources.
Yeah.
Uh, that is,
Organic social media, email marketing.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep, yep. So, build a community, not just a customer list.
Hmm. I mean, that's where the loyalty lies within community.
Yep, yep. The most profitable marketing strategy there is customer retention. And so, not paying attention to our people coming back consistently is something that you can't overlook as a business.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah. I think I agree with that 100%. It was well said.
So review your client retention process and see where the gaps are. And we've given you a lot of areas where you could have those gaps. And, of course, we'd love to chat with you about that and how to improve your client retention. All right. Well, thanks for listening today. This is the Elevated Marketing podcast. You can certainly sign up for our newsletter on our website at elevatedmarketing.solutions, or you can head over to LinkedIn and follow me, Jennifer Denny. We have our newsletter on there as well. All right, take care.